This one shocked me. This picture when they see, so this girl when they see. This boy don't buy him. Una go dey hear everything una need to know. You know, some children are useless. Pray for God not to give you a useless child in this world. You're not born, you better pass. When we see the France case, this man, they give his wife something they shop. For over 10 years, they have been married for 50 years. The man would they call other men come, but they come they knock a wife when she go there unconscious.
I'll start there with Ira Star's tweet that reads, "Stop killing us. Stop raping us. Women deserve better. Hashtag justice for Christiana." The next tweet there reads, "A few days ago, it was Mercy. It is now Christiana. Many more stories are yet untold and undiscovered. There's an alarming rate of femicide in Nigeria. It's more alarming that teenagers and youths stop killing women." Again, justice for Christiana. The next tweet there reads, "Femicide is a global crisis, taking the lives of countless women, leaving behind broken families and shattered communities. No woman should live in fear because of her gender. We must rise, speak out, and demand justice. Every life stolen is a failure of humanity." And the very last tweet there reads, "Fine, Adeleye Ayomide has been arrested. However, there's a strong sentiment among the public for a thorough investigation and for the legal proceedings to be expedited and transparent, because he can't be the only one killing and who buries different persons in the same house, which is not built or owned by him. Hopefully, Ayomide faces the full extent of the law." Now, very quickly, before I come to the studio for comments, let's take this next story. A man is on trial accused of repeatedly drugging and raping his wife, as well as encouraging dozens of other men to rape her in their home while she was unconscious. The alleged victim, Giselle, 72, appeared in a courtroom in Avignon, France, earlier this week for the opening of the trial with her daughter and 2 sons by her side. Over the next 4 months, she will come face to face with her accused abusers. Most of them are strangers to her. Prosecutors say that the defendant, her husband, Dominique, 71-year-old, would recruit men online to rape his wife after drugging her with sleeping pills and anti-anxiety medication. He faces 9 charges, including several counts of rape with aggravating circumstances, the drugging of a victim to commit rape, and the sharing of images related to those assaults. The prosecutors were able to put together a case because Dominique documented a number of the alleged assaults on camera. I know this is a very heartbreaking news here in Nigeria and also in France. With Christiana, she actually she was killed, and this Ayomide person, based on the information that is coming in, it's as if this is not the first time he's actually doing something like this. Apparently, he had allegedly he had killed his sister, and he had actually killed an ex-girlfriend as well as Christiana. And then, of course, in France, a man and a woman that have been married for years, and over the space of 10 years, getting men, over 70, according to the prosecutors, over a space of 10 years, were actually coming to their home and raping his wife continuously. It boggles my mind. Let's start with you, Dr. Abati.
Okay. Pathetic, sad, frightening. I mean, the world gets, more and more stranger every day. I'll start with the story in France. You know, the crime was discovered when the police within the community to which this couple had moved discovered that her husband, the Dominique Pellicot, that's his name, was taking pictures of women's crotches, and they decided to investigate him. That was when they stumbled upon footages, of recordings that she had taken of other men, raping his own wife. And they invited the woman for, questioning, and they asked her questions about her husband. He said, "Oh, great guy," because she never suspected. They had been married for 50 years. And then eventually, when she was confronted with the evidence, she was heartbroken. She packed her suitcases and left. after 50 years of marriage, they already had 3 adult children. The husband is 70. She herself is in her 70s. So you will find what kind of madness goes on in some people's minds. Now, the matter has now gone to trial, and she offered, because in France, ordinarily, they will not allow or they will not name a woman that is involved in this kind of case, in rape cases. But she offered to appear in person. Her lawyer said she wanted to be in court in person, and she wanted the trial to be public, so as to show, the kind of danger that women could face. How could you be married to a man for 50 years, and the man will drug you, and then go and invite other men, their ages ranging from 22 to 70s, to rape his own wife, and then he will record it and keep the recording? I mean, it's the ultimate form of betrayal, is the ultimate form of abuse. Unfortunately, the penalty for this offense in France is 20 years imprisonment. I wish it could be life imprisonment, so that all the persons involved in this abuse, this act of betrayal, would, remain in prison for the remainder of their lives. And we hope that, Madame Giselle Pelicot will get justice. Now, the next story in Nigeria, students are sent to the universities, to places of education, so that they can learn character and also acquire basic skills for the future. It is shocking to find out that a 300-level student, in a university, they say he's a 300-level student of philosophy, will be a serial killer. I agree with the last commentator. His name is Jeff, the tweet that you read, that this case should be tried expeditiously, that investigations should be carried out in case, the Ayomide fellow is working. Ayomide?
No, it has nothing to do.
Oh, okay. I was just going to.
Nothing. We reject it with all the ions. We don't. He's not one of us.
Anyway, so that the case is investigated in case it's part of a network that is not working alone, and those other persons that have been working in concert with him, also face the music. And look at it. I mean, they asked for a ransom of 1.5 million. The family managed to couple together 350. This same boy, they said, went and withdrew 100,000 from the 350,000. Eventually, police caught up with them. Now, what kind of home is he from? But kidnapping is a major crime in this country. Killing is also a major crime. So I join others in saying that we want justice for Christiana, just as we want justice for Giselle Pelicot in the city of Saxony in France.
Yeah. Ayo.
Okay, so this is such a sad story, and the more you find out about it, the worse it gets. And I'm talking about Christiana Idowu. First of all, I want to offer our condolences to her family members. I cannot imagine what they are going through at the moment, especially since when you hear the details of the story and the fact that the criminal sent her picture to her mom, saying that she was asleep, when at that time he had actually done away with her. Very sad, and just our condolences. Now to the young man. When you read the account, it takes a deranged fellow to do what he did. So they knew each other. She sought refuge in his shop, which was in front of his house. And on doing so, he took her in, tried to have his way with her, that's rape her. When she didn't agree, he killed her. After doing that, according to reporters, when he sent pictures and demanded for ransom. At the same time, still chatting with friends from her school, asking about her whereabouts, and even taunted the mom to say that, okay, if you don't have the money, ask her friends in school, because he had the information that her friends were. It takes a deranged mind. But, this sometimes solution for madness is serious consequence. Yeah. And they should evaluate his mental state of health. But very importantly, like Dr. Bati mentioned, let us find out who colluded with him. I mean, for this kind of work. He was able to dig a shallow grave. It happened in I don't, were there neighbors? Does he live with people? Does he live alone? So many questions to be asked. Commendations to the army who were able to trace her phone, and that's how they were able to find her location. But also importantly, now handing over to the police. Let it not be like situations where we hear horrendous stories like this and nothing happens, or we don't get, or they're in court for such a long time, and then you know what they say about justice delayed being justice denied. Then beyond that, is that this happened in September, a month that Lagos State has declared the Domestic and Sexual Violence Awareness Month. So the DSVA, the agency, has been doing a lot this month to raise awareness around domestic and sexual violence. And look at what we have. It just goes to show how deep the problem is, not just in Lagos State, across the states in Nigeria, like Dr. Bat evaluated, even across the world. Yes. Women have become victims, whether it's a passionate crime. We looked at the Ugandan athlete who was also killed by her partner, whether it's a crime committed by a friend, as in the case of Christiana Idowu, or whether it's a crime perpetuated in the office or in different places. A few things I must notice that when it comes to rape culture, violence against women, every single person has a responsibility. Yeah. When a man makes comments that people say, oh, he's just joking, or when a man or woman, because it could go both ways, let's not encourage or accept language that is sexual in nature and devalues a woman and call it a joke, whether in the office, whether at home. This is how it starts. Look at the young boy in the United States of America. He started with making comments on social media, which he then actualized. We must say no. I'm glad that we now say a total no to jokes or comedy, about rape or about violation of women. It must be zero tolerance. And then justice system must be swift, must be seen to act and not vilify when a victim comes in to make a case and we say, what were you doing? Why did you go there? What were you wearing? Things like that. Those are the things that perpetrate these crimes. It is very sad. And the best thing we can do for this young girl is to ensure that justice is served and that no other girl has to suffer this, not just in Lagos, but across Nigeria. Again, our condolences. Very sad story.
Bimbai.
Yeah, absolutely. Deepest condolences. He's a psychopath. He's a psychopath. That's the only way to put it. But, when I look at some of the allegations of his personal history, again, we call them allegations, right? But they say in 2018 he killed another lady, and that in 2020, he killed his sister. And all of whom, and the sister, I believe, was said to have also been buried in the same backyard where he buried Christiana. So my question is, as a parent, because he's now how old? He's now 23, right? So in 2020, he was how old? He was about 19, 20, right? Yeah. So my question is, as a parent, your daughter, you have a son and a daughter. Your daughter is killed. Let's say you don't know who committed the crime, right? No problem. But are you not observing something in your household, in your family? Are you not paying attention? I know sometimes we put too much attention on parents, but honestly, in this scenario, I'm asking myself, surely somebody must have seen that something is not quite right with this guy. His social media handle, his tweets, there's so much to be taken away from it. So are you saying that there was nobody in his community who noticed that something was wrong with this guy? And then it also says something about our justice system. I know Amnesty International have already come and said, well, how is the police handling these issues? If the sisters, the alleged killing of the other lady, the alleged killing of the sister had been investigated and brought to book, this third crime would have been preventable because he would have already been somebody who has been indicted for murder in the past. So I have so many questions around the history and the fact that did nobody at all notice that there was something off about this young man, or was he given an excuse by society for whatever reason it was? That's really where my questions are.
Very salient points that you've all made, and we'll continue to monitor this story. And again, just to reiterate, justice for Christiana. Let's move on now to our next story. The President Bola Tinubu-led Nigerian government has been criticized for lavishly spending on decorations for the First Lady's event. The payments made to the Rock of Ages total events were for decorations at state banquet halls, Sheraton Hotel, and other venues between March 15 and July 15, 2024. A breakdown of the expenses confirmed by govspend.ng reveals this huge amount spent on decorations, including 68.4 million naira for Democracy Day, 19.9 million for Sheraton Hotel, 131.9 million for a full-scale State House event, and 22.5 million for State House Banquet Hall, and finally 77.5 million for fresh flowers and other decorations. I had to bring this story back because if you remember I think it was last week or the week before, the First Lady had